Hello and welcome to the Sunday Reset. So, welcome everybody and welcome to the replay. So, my name is Mary June Tracy. I don't know why I did that. It's just totally, totally nutters. Today we are heading into a very big week. And one of the things for this week that I really wanted to look at is that we've spent, you know, years learning astrology as through each transit, right? That happens. And I feel like Mars is entering Gemini, Mercury's going retrograde, and then there's a full moon. Um and Jupiter changes signs. And I feel life doesn't unfold one transit at a time. Life unfolds like a living architecture. And I feel like that's what we are experiencing right now. We are experiencing a new type of architecture, a new type of energetic vibrations that are coming through. And everything we've experienced over these last several years has been preparing for this moment. Pluto entering Aquarius began restructuring the collective foundation. Neptune in Aries dissolved certainty and invited us to imagine a completely different future. Chiron entering Taurus shifted us away from healing as something we do and towards healing as something we embody. And that's a big one. I feel like, especially with Chiron going into Taurus, I feel like that's really going to aid in a lot of healing for people. And it's also can be very disruptive for people because we are embodying it. And Cancer solstice reminded us that nourishment isn't a luxury. Nourishment is our architecture. And now the movement enters the architecture. I feel this is where we're heading into. With Mars entering Gemini today, that movement, the thought, the ideas, the communication, the curiosity, and there's choices begin, to multiplying. And the architecture of the mind becomes activated. This isn't simply about becoming busier. It's about noticing how your thoughts create movement. And with Mercury in Cancer, well, normally we saw Mercury retrogrades means review. And yes, it does. It is part of it. But I believe this is one different, and it feels like remembrance. Cancer remembers. It remembers the emotional architecture you've been living inside, the beliefs, the stories, the emotional rooms. You've it's been calling home. And so you got to ask yourself, what emotional architecture have I been living inside? Because those emotional memories continue organizing your reality. So I feel like this is like a, a beautiful transformation, a beautiful movement, and especially as we're stepping into this week. And to top it off, we got the full moon in Capricorn. The full moon illuminating in Capricorn. Capricorn rules structure. It rules our bones, right? The whole structure of things. Now, what you hoped to build and not what you intended, but it's what you've actually built. The full moon is going to show the structures, and the structural integrity. And can your current life support where your soul wants to go? That's the big one. It's where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And I was just watching Yes Theory. I don't know if you've ever watched it. It's a YouTube. They have over 10 million followers. I've been following them for years. And Yes Theory is really, really, really cool, because they go on different adventures, and it's about saying yes to things. And this energy is about saying yes. It's about saying yes to the new architectural structure of your soul and stepping into it and embodying it. It's a whole new embodiment. And especially with the Chiron piece too, it's embodying a lot of the emotions. It's not just it's not just, oh yeah, I thought about it. Oh yeah, I did this. No, this is coming in, coming into oneself. And that's what this week is really bringing in. And then we have Jupiter. Jupiter enters Leo. Pah! And the Cancer nourished the roots. Leo asks, will you allow yourself to be seen? Not through performances, through embodiment. Visibility isn't about pretending. Visibility is becoming coherent with who you've already become. Wow. Yeah. And by Friday, this is where things can get a little chaotic, unexpected, because Mars is going to conjunct Uranus. And many people will call this explosive. I'm one of them. And yes, unexpected things may happen. I mean, Uranus is one of those things that you don't know. You might think it's going this way and it's going this way. You might think it's great, but it's actually bad. You might think it's bad and it's actually great. That's Uranus. It's unexpected things may happen, unexpected opportunities, unexpected movement. But what if this isn't chaos? What if this is voltage? More life, more current, more creative force that's coming in. There is so much that is unfolding right now. And it is something that we need to grasp. It is something that we need to step into. And it is very positive. There is a lot of positivity in this. And this week isn't asking how much can you accomplish, how fast you can move, how productive can you become. It's asking something much deeper. How much life can your architecture actually hold? Wow. Because acceleration always reveals capacity. We say we want abundance, more money, more love, more freedom, more visibility, but can our nervous system actually sustain it? That's the big question. People ask all the time, and they say, I want more money, I want more love. Are you prepared for it? Can your architecture sustain this? And I know many of you will say, yeah, I can. Okay. That's where this energy is coming in. It's saying if you are wanting this, if you are wanting to bring this in more, open, be prepared. Be prepared, right? It's like uh to get 10 million views on Yes Theory. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, just to think on YouTube to have something with 10 million views. Me, I think I'm at 314 views. So I'm opening up. I'm opening up. What would it be like to have 1,000 views? Like I'm opening up my energetic field because yeah, I want to be able to connect with even more people in more of a spiritual way, in more of a loving way, to bring in the love and the laughter and the joy of life. And adding in how the architecture of the sky as above reflects upon our earth walk down here. So bringing that energy in for you. So opening up how my energy is going to react to that. I have to trust. I have to have faith, right? I have to have humility that I'm going to be okay. with it all, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just like if when somebody wins the lottery or you find that somebody who really loves you fully and completely, you know, and adores you fully and completely. That love, right? So this is where um looking at your emotional architecture and asking, can my body hold it? And can our emotional architecture support it? And the nervous system determines how much life we can receive. The body determines how much expansion becomes sustainable. The architecture determines how much current can move us without fragmentation. That's coherence. And this week is giving every one of us a snapshot, a living mirror showing us where we are already coherent, where we are already leaking that energy. Ooh, that's pretty cool. It is a very beautiful week to step into. It is going to be a week where I feel many are going to, they could struggle because the energy's new. This is where people to realize that yes, you are love. Yes, you can receive love. This is a time where people can actually, you know, it can be that struggle for people. And this is where we have to look at it saying, okay, where my own life, because especially with um Chiron in Taurus and having to embody this more, where is that where is that within me that I struggle, that I need to let and release, you know, so I can allow more of that light and that love into my life. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the cards for this week and bring that energy in for this week on the alignment. So we'll bring some cards into this. I have the Golden Tarot that I'm using. Hope you all have had a great weekend. It's been very rainy here in Calgary, but it is what it is. One of the things, one of the things that I believe that we should be asking is, what do I need to fix? And ask, you know, um, instead of asking. So instead of asking, what do I need to fix? It's like, where am I becoming increasingly coherent with who I am, who I already am? Because the architecture becomes more coherent. So we ask, where am I becoming increasingly coherent with who I already am? Life naturally begins moving through it, not because you're forcing it, but because you're becoming capable of holding it, right? And perhaps that's what's extraordinary this week. And this extraordinary week has been preparing us for all along. So there is this vibrational energy that's coming in that's really having us increase our volume. Ooh. There we go. What do we have? What do we have? Okay. Oh my goodness. They're becoming very slippery, so I got to stop. Because when they start flying out all over the place, it just gets crazy. So, we have the Knight. The Knight of Wands reversed. So it's like, don't race through this. Don't run through this. I mean, the Knight of Wands, he has this passion and he wants to just ooze this all out. This is about allowing ourselves to flow with it, especially with the Capricorn moon, right? Capricorn full moon. This is where, when we have the Knight of Wands reversed come in, it is looking at the powerful energy that's present, and an impulse of rushing ahead with clear plans. So this week, just don't, this is where we have to align our actions more powerfully with what we are wanting to do. So this is where it's like aligning the actions is more powerful than the constant action. So aligning where we want to go, not just sort of pushing our way and getting through that. And in that we have the Ace of Cups reversed, right? So the ace comes in, and the ace is really looking at us, to say, stop. Just stop the forcing, stop the rushing, stop trying to outrun yourself. Allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to be sustained. Where the Knight, can look at, the scattered energy, the restlessness, right? So you may be feeling restless at the beginning of this week. You might be feeling to acting from urgency and trying to make something happen, because the energy, with a full moon, Mercury retrograde, all of these energies and transformations that are happening and are changing, you could get like a very anxious, overwhelming type of feeling. So the ace comes in, and this is looking at an emotional an emotional renewal. And Mercury retrograde in Cancer asks you to remember what truly nourishes you. What do you need to be nourished? What do you need to allow for the love and the abundance and the joy to come forth? And with Jupiter entering Leo, this is like huge expansion. It wants to express from the heart. And it's a lot of energy, and it's opposite Pluto, right? So, how am I connecting with this openness? How am I connecting with all of this and still connecting with community, still connecting with my humanity and the humanity of others? And with Mars meeting up with Uranus, that's going to bring in a whole new current of energy that we have not experienced in our lifetime unless you lived in the 40s. So this is a new type of energy that's coming in, a new wave, a new vibration that comes forth with it. And in it, the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands that comes in, and it's reversed. This is really getting us to really look at things with a clarity. I feel like this is not a week, of rushing through things. This is really a week of looking at, to stop forcing and open our hearts to receive. We got to allow ourselves to sit there to receive and trust ourselves enough to step into a new path. If we're not trusting ourselves to trust, we sometimes it's going to be like we're going to be wobbly, or we're going to feel like we're all over the place, right? And this is where we really have to understand this transformation that's coming in. We have to understand this newness and this renewal that's coming in. And look at where my anxiety is coming from. Look at where my anxiousness is coming from. With a Capricorn moon, that's a grounding moon. That means I have to sit and I have to, okay, this is my new architecture, right? And I'm embodying this energy that's coming in. Where do I feel anxious? Where do I feel overwhelmed? And try and identify it in your body. And then take a moment and put your hands on it wherever you feel it, right? It could be that oh my God, my legs are jittery. Okay, put your hands on your thighs and then just gently take the energy from your hips down to your knees, right? rub around your knees, come back up along the side of your legs, and then go back down. And just allow yourself to push whatever is there and allow it to flow out, right? And I'm going to say this energy is really it's a very pulsating one. It is one of one of the very active weeks of this year that is pushing us into this new energetic field. We also have tomorrow, as Mercury's going retrograde, CERN is being turned off for the next 4 years. What that means for us, how is, and I'm always quite in tuned, like whenever this happens, I really want to be in tuned. Okay, there's an energy that they're turning off that has been vibrating through the earth for a while, right? We've had a lot of activity that has happened within earthquakes, right? So the earth is really shifting. There's a lot of underground, a lot of things that are rumbling, and a lot of transformations that are taking upon the earth. So Uranus controls the weather. It is the weather one, and it's in Gemini. So things with the weather can be very erratic. Things can change very drastically. And we're seeing, the craziness that's happening in Europe. And it is not, it is more than just summer, that energy that's coming in. The crazy weather that we're having here, and the changes that are going on. So we are coming in this, we could see the weather showing us how erratic the energies are right now. And that in this chaos and craziness, we have to look at how we are embodying it within ourselves, and that's with the Two of Wands reversed. I feel like there's where we are underestimating our own potential, fear of making the wrong choices. And this is where, I feel like we are keeping ourselves small. It's trying to get us to come up, to stand up. And with that week, with the week, yeah, I gotta laugh at this one hard. With this week, this is what we have to really watch out for. And because when this card shows up, this is a card that the door is open. The door is open. And with this card, and I'm going to show it to you now, with this card, all right, the door is open, but here comes the devil. What is keeping you in the chains? What is keeping you chained up so that you don't walk forward? What is it that is holding you back? What are the fears? That's why it's, what are the anxieties? What is the overwhelmness that you're feeling? Right? So this is like, okay, I got to take this time this week. This is a good journal week, right? This is a fabulous week to journal. This is a fabulous week to really start looking at what is my architecture, right? What is it that I'm creating? What is it? What is that part of me, right? It's like Caroline Myers wrote The Castle. I don't know if I have it handy. But The Castle, when she wrote The Castle. And it was from I know I'm looking for things now. Because the book comes in and I'm like, I know I got it somewhere. The Castle. So when she wrote The Castle, it was based on um, Saint Teresa of Avila, and she was a Camelot nun back, I think, in the 1500s, 1600s, somewhere like that. But how she described entering the castle. Entering the castle is entering your architecture, entering at the base. Who is there, right? And going through each of the levels. And I think I'm going to bring that book out today. I'm going to read it a little bit. because it talks about your architecture, it talks about that connection, right? And with the devil coming out, it's not because the chains are unbreakable, but it's because they have become familiar. What we have put ourselves in has become familiar. We're familiar with our complaining. We're familiar with saying this. That's why one of the questions I put out on the YouTube is like about retirement. Who's ready? And so many people. There's quite a few comments that people even said to me privately that I ain't ever going to retire. There's no way for me to retire. And I'm just like, okay, there has to be something there. That's why I started the $5 experiment. The $5 experiment is to show us, to help us on this journey. And in this experiment that I'm doing, in this journey that I'm doing, it's about allowing ourselves to see things in a different way, because there's so many mantras that we have. There's so many constructs that we have, that we believe and that we are chained to. And this is about taking those chains off. And it's scary because it's like, well, I don't want to take the chains off. I want to stay in this. And this is where it's like, okay, what is it that I can do to make what are the things that I can do in order to help myself? And that's important. That's all part of this energy about looking at what can I do to help myself, to create more of the abundance, to create more of a spiritual alignment. And astrologically, this is right in line with it all. This is right in line with with creating this newness, right? So allowing ourselves to be open and opening our hearts with this, because the devil brings in the addiction or temptation. More often, it's about our limiting beliefs, fear disguised as practicality, old conditioning, emotional or financial patterns, shame or guilt, right? Because the devil's about this world, this mundane world. So it's giving your power away. It's staying in what's familiar because it's predictable. The card reminds us that the chains around the figures are loose. They can be removed at any time. The devil often appears just before a breakthrough because it reveals the final pattern, asking to be seen. I know this in my own life. When there's big changes coming up in my life or something there, I can have some really crazy, scary dreams. And a lot of things will come in to try and tempt me to stay there. Many times you don't realize, or you don't recognize these temptations are there, that are trying to contain you. But over time, when you become more aware, more embodied, you become, oh, I can see that. I don't need to go with that. Because the connection to the astrology is that this architecture that I've been describing this week is asking, what do you want? It's asking, or I should say, it isn't asking. It isn't asking, what do you want? It's asking what structure keeps you from holding what you want. The devil represents the architecture that no longer serves, the old writing, the old habits, the old emotional rooms you've been living. And the Mars Uranus brings the voltage. It's going there. We're going to see some crazy, I don't know. There's going to be some craziness that happens this week. I can feel it, especially with that Mars Uranus coming in and Jupiter and Leo expanding things. Yeah. So the devil asks, what old patterns can't make the journey with you? Ooh. Good question. Freedom begins the moment you recognize that the walls around you were never your true home. What once protected you may now be limiting you. Release the story that keeps you small. because your soul has already outgrown the cage. Yes. So stop forcing, become willing to receive. Allow yourself to sit there to receive. Trust the next step and release the patterns that keep returning to the old version of yourself and step into that beautiful newness that's you, that you have. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, links in the bio. And if you're, it's patreon.com/the guru mama. If you're interested in taking a peek over there, it's very small right now, just starting out, but definitely come on over and join me. I'll be posting something up there. I'm going to try doing little things weekly for my Patreons, just to help and to give them that guidance of this is what I'm doing, and discussing some of my big some of the crazy shit I do, um, just to because I thought that was the right thing to do, or just to trying to keep my head above water, and how I'm stepping forward into a lot of new energies and new ways of doing things. So here we go. Here we go. All right. And I also have my summer sale is on if you are wanting a mini reading. Mini reading is $65. It's 20 minutes and come together one-on-one. And I still have space to do a moon reading if people are wanting a moon reading, which is personalized video just for you based on your natal chart and where the moon is. So have a great one, everybody. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you and all you say and all you be and all you do. God bless and the goddess bless. Step into this week. Embrace it. It's going to be a good one. Bye-bye.